Hello, you beautiful soul beings. I wanted to do a continuation of my politics series and tap into what's happening with the world. I'd like to take a broader approach here in reference in geopolitics as it pertains to the USA, Canada, maybe going into other parts of the world, depending on what we need to know and depending on who is destined or meant to watch this video. So we're just going to do a free form poll and see where that takes us and how that relates to our collective consciousness. So let's go. Let's see what Spirit has to tell us today about what's going on politically, what that means for our collective consciousness, and how we should be interpreting, handling, accepting the political energy at this moment. So the first card that popped out is the Empress. Now the Empress is very much mother energy, empowered female energy, owning her kingdom, but this is in the reverse right now. So this is talking about a fall, repression, erratic behavior, specifically as related to the divine feminine and the collective consciousness. Getting more into this because we're talking about countries, I did ask, are we talking about the divine energy of Americas? Are we talking about Russia? Because sometimes some tarot readers will say that the Empress is related with Russia, and then the next card that came out was the stars. So that's clearly America for me, America being the Star Spangled Banner. We also have here a very American looking family, as the image oftentimes is assumed of, the 2.5 children, with their dog playing in the pool with the American looking mom. This is the destiny here, the memories that are being made. It seems like we're looking at what's happening with the contrast between the collective consciousness of the female population and the divine feminine population. So that's not always females, but also males, everything in between that represents the divine feminine. So nurturing, balance, grassroots movements, the domestic home life, all of this is being consciously tapped upon and focused on and explored right now within the American, or I'll say even Western populations. There seems to be a concerted effort as well. This is my Kamala Harris card, but Kamala Harris really being just symptomatic of energy that needs to focus on her studying, that needs to focus on collecting the data, working through the information, really working hard and refining one's mind. So I'm talking the powerful female that's in things like law, in things like immigration, and things that are very practical, that require a lot of mental acumen. You're being asked to rise right now and master those skills to help support within your country, and there's a sense of self-mastery that is required here for the female, and it begins because this is a chalice card with the emotion. So it seems to be that there's a erratic behavior and also an attack on the divine feminine, and you're being asked right now to master your emotions at this moment, because if you do, your masterfulness will be accomplished, as the 8 of Chalice is a mastery and accomplishment card. You can see here with the Empress, her child has been wounded, and she comes to save the child, but right now she's in balance. But it is your destiny to rise. It is your destiny, the divine feminine's destiny, to rise within the USA, and I will say even the Western region. Through here, your challenge, you've got temperance. I can't really say it. Temperance is not being had. When it is in the right position, we're talking about balance, but because it's not in the right position, it's upside down. There's no balance here. There's no balance. And because there is no balance, there is going to be conflict. Now let's do, so many cards came out. Yep, there you go. Imbalance within the lovers. All right, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. They are not in balance right now. We have the lovers that are being challenged. As you know, the news is talking about the rise of masculine and feminine, not or within relationships, some people breaking up because of politics. It's unfortunate, but you know, we want to work together here and have a happy home. Happy homes, harmonious homes lead to harmonious countries. Wow, I have so many cards that popped up. Okay, one moment. I'm just going to shuffle again. Next card here is Two of Wands. This is a spark of your project, spark of your power coming in and working together to get there. I have at the bottom of my deck here Seven of Swords. Okay, Seven of Swords, ill-dignified. Those are things taken from you. So bottom of the deck, just giving the theme that Two of Wands is like you feel like something's been taken from you, but listen, you can get it back. Okay, this is about realizing where you've given your power to and how you're going to master that through your projects, through your mind, through your focus, and through your action. Because fire, okay, wands is a card of action. So take action and not give your powers away. Okay, you have the power. Women, you do indeed have the power. Don't let it make you feel disempowered, whatever is happening. All right, it's asking you to, Three of Pentacles here. It's asking to use your resources that are around you to create, okay? We have Knave of Pentacles, okay? Again, Pentacles. These are very like earth-based things, using your, creating projects, using the internet, getting your message out there, and, you know, using your resources and working in groups, calling all resources in groups, maybe from a grassroots way to create your new ideas and new projects that you need. You know, express the pains that you feel. Okay, Nine of Swords. You know, express what is keeping you contained, those nightmares that you're having, the issues that you're having. Express them, let them be known. I will say, and again, this is in terms of the divine feminine in the Western world, generally USA and Canada, but I know right now Canada, in the province of Ontario, or I guess and it will be federal, the NDP is asking for the Premier Doug Ford in Ontario to recognize that domestic violence, or domestic partner violence, is a pandemic, or epidemic, sorry, to declare it as an epidemic. So use your creative skills, your hard work, your grassroots movement to express yourselves and express the pain that you may be going through. Okay? All right, and my bottom of my deck says Chariot, and as we know, Chariot is about movement. So take action. What else, Spirit? What else do you want to say about this? About the divine feminine energy? And we're, too many cards. Let's try again. Too many cards. Okay, what came out? We got Five of Chalices, ill-dignified. This is a really stuck energy. This is about repression. You can see that the female divine character here, she is mourning. She's in grief. She's, you know, just sitting on the couch or the sofa, or Chesterfield if you're in Canada, just completely sad. And feeling disempowered because it's ill-dignified. It means those emotions are repressed. So we've got hurt, nightmares, trauma, pain that women are going through. You know, she's bloodied and bruised. You know, we're talking about women coming out saying, hey, recognize that intimate partner violence is a pandemic, or epidemic. And we have here these repressed emotions going on. The bottom of my deck says the Tower. This is a Tower moment for the collective consciousness to really just need to break through. Okay, we need to break through. We need to stand up and express ourselves, not repress ourselves. And the Word of Vogue, I shuffled and the Tower moment came out directly. So there you go. Just talking about all things falling. All things falling for women. A lot of women feel like the world is being flipped upside down on them, that they're being kept down again. Divine masculine is being put into the light. We need to, not in the light, but, you know, in the hot seat to address this. Yep, there you go. Popped out. King of Pentacles, ill-dignified. This means that a part of the collective consciousness within, I would say even both because there's a masculine image in there and there's a feminine image. So we're talking about obedience here. We're talking about appealing to other people's ideals, other people's pleasures, other people's needs, and being obedient to them just to try to almost like, this is like suck up energy, you know what I mean? This gives me pick me vibes, turning against the divine feminine. It's also giving also the part of us that represses ourselves, because it is coming out after this card, is that, you know, sometimes we repress ourselves or repress our inner feelings, inner turmoils, just to be obedient and to please others, okay? Not always a pick me, but just, you know, because you're trying to work together. But maybe it's time for a change, okay? So what do the women need to do? What do women, they're feeling grief right now, what do you need to do? Tell us what you need to do. Okay, you need to, One of Cups, still dignified. You got to say no. You got to say no. You're feeling, here are my boundaries. I'm not going to say yes to you. You know, you got to be the Magician. You got to manifest a life that you want it to have. It's time for the baddies to come out. And I don't mean the baddies online that are trying to, like, you know, do it just for validation and attention. I'm talking about the baddies that are like, I'm looking at all my resources, all these elements, and I'm going to master them. I'm going to do alchemy and the Fool. Go on this new journey of yours. Ladies, if this is you, go on your new journey. Understand that you have the power within you to create the life that you want, and you can do it alone if you have to, okay? Do not be afraid. This is the new journey. This is the new time of rising for the divine feminine, and work together in your groups. Look at these beautiful females. Look at this. Beautiful females coming together in their emotions, manifesting the world they see. All right, the divine feminine energy is that moon energy. So connect with your emotions and create that collective alchemy, okay? And you will be abundance successful as the divine feminine by doing this. And you will then take control, okay? The Emperor, you'll take control. This is the woman, by the way, the divine feminine taking the energy of the divine masculine. So balancing with the divine masculine, using hard work, using her mental faculties, her strategic faculties. I don't know, my words are scrambled today. She will certainly be more concise than I am. The divine feminine will rule, will dominate, will rise. Okay, so it is a transition that we're going to, but it is a collective for women who need to break out from whatever paradigms are keeping them down, keeping them obedient, to say, I shall not anymore be repressed. This is the wheels. The wheels of change are happening. Now, it's important to note, because the wheel at this time has come out upside down, it is still warning that we are in stagnation. Okay, so ladies and also gents with an awareness of the divine feminine, that is to nurture, to heal, to come together, to be in that yin energy, which is being energy, versus the yang, which is creation, dominance, outreach, singularity. We're talking about broad-based energy. We're talking about letting things go, letting things flow. Right now it's stagnant, okay? But through that, you also attract and you manifest, okay? Being still does not necessarily mean that you don't accomplish. Being still also doesn't mean that, you know, you can't have things happen for you. But it happens through the attraction. And I think this is why we have so many Earth cards and Chalice cards coming out in our deck, right? Earth card, Chalice cards. It's talking about being grounded and mastering our emotions. I know right now there are different paradigms or different movements that people are participating in, whether that's the FAFO movement. I mean, this is not really movement, it's just documentations of videos on social media. Or, you know, some people are involved in, you know, the 4B movement, which is, I think they've renamed it because to not take it away from the Korean feminist movement. But, you know, there's this sort of radical separation of self. And I say self because we're all one anyway. So radical separation of the divine feminine from the divine masculine self. Eventually we need to keep that energy flowing and create that union again. Okay, so let's talk about that more. Oh, right away. I got that. I know. Women just feel like something's been stolen from them. They just want to break. They want to break because of so much work that they've already put in. Not a time. They're not feeling like a celebrating. Oh, I feel bad for my ladies right now. This wants to come up. Knight of Wands. There's two energies. There's some people feeling stagnant, and then some people who are like, you know what? I will find that spark again. I will fight back. I'm part of the resistance, as you can see here. You know, this is like that energy of like creation. Knight of Wands. Having this. She's going out there. She's using her spark, her fire, her passion, and she's also the mother here, the mother energy. You know, King of Wands, King of Wands. Okay, so we've got Wand, Wand. Okay, Wand, Wand. This is about, again, your passion, your power, your creating through your passion and power. And this is the King of Wands is, as you work with your passion and you express with passion, you're doing this in a safe environment, and you're collecting, you're gathering people around you, people to follow and hear your message. And you do it in such a way that is attractive to all genders. You can see here, the woman here is speaking her truth. She is rising from the flames. As witches in the day, we used to be burned, but you can see she's not in pain. She's rising like a phoenix out of the fire. And then you have here the men listening to her and participating in her voice. So I see here a silver lining, okay? There's a lot of energy of pain. And I gotta tell you, when I watch some of these videos of what some people's reactions are to what the elections outcome were, and, you know, cutting out their families and stuff, it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart because I know people don't do that lightly. And I know that people don't go no contact with their friends and families lightly. It's, you know, they have to feel truly that they've been through the gamut, or they don't feel supported, or, you know, and you have the other side making fun of them and their emotions, and that's not okay. So, you know, take the time you need to yourself. Also support each other. Support each other in this time, as community is important for healing of yourself, of each other. Start off with people who get you, and then when you're strong enough, go back to talking to the people who don't get you. Okay? Last one. What should the collective conscious divine feminine do to help let it rise? Collective consciousness, help let it rise. Nothing wants to come out. So I'm going to switch decks. Actually, I'm being drawn to a different deck that I initially wasn't going to come out. I'm going to take out my classical mythology oracle because I want to see if there's any person, place, or thing that the Americans and the Canadians, people in the West, should watch out on. Eros, love struck infatuation and heart sorrow. Yeah, you guys, there's a lot of heartache going around, especially in love, especially in love and marriages and families. I'd like to clarify this card a bit more, because this is, Eros is generally a positive energy. You know, this is about love being around you. the heart soreness can just represent people really wishing that they had their people understanding them a bit more. All right, let's get anything here wanting to come out. What archetypes will be helping with the rise of the divine feminine? Can you let us know? What archetypes will be helping with the rise of the divine feminine? Anything here? Who should we look out for? Who will rise up? What females, what males, what should people be connecting to? All right, anything? Oh, Midas touch. Midas touch. Reversal of fortune, wealth, and prosperity. Focus on your economics. Keep an eye on your economics. Also, this is really interesting because I know there is a network on YouTube called Midas Touch that has been following this very closely. It's led by a gentleman, but he really, in his approach, does embody the divine feminine. You know, just wanting to... I know people will say it's more left-leaning, but I think that network is going to blow up in terms of just being part of this movement. Oh. But yes, in general, you can take that literally, or you can, go watch them, or, just focus on your wealth, focus on making your money, right? Focus on your economy, what's happening. I think Donald Trump just announced he's going to do 25% tariff towards Canada and Mexico. That's going to cause a retaliatory, probably tariff war and increased costs for everyone, if not having some people lose jobs because companies are going to need to watch out for their bottom line, right? So what else? Artemis. Achievement, victory, triumph, freedom, completion. So you have Artemis here using her hunting skills and her intelligence to complete the mission here. She's also, the goddess of the woods, and she leads the moon, leads the emotion. You can see her here having the moon on her head and the arrows going out. Let your ideas go out there. Be strategic about your ideas and how to express themselves, and be within the feminine Buddha energy. You can see here she's wearing, well, it's like the toga, but in, oftentimes in Eastern cultures, this sort of dress and robe is somebody who was studying in their, as monks and whatnot. So you can see here she also has the disc ray around her head. So there's a sense here of intuition and intelligence and letting your intellect, your ideas express themselves in this world. Stay educated, stay in love with self, stay grounded, stay, if you can, look at what parts of humanity makes you happy, okay? And express yourself. Don't repress yourself. Last one, siren song. This is how you'll break the spell. Okay, this is how you will break the spell. Okay. And then finally, Helen of Troy. So Helen of Troy, was the figure that brought down all the ships in the war and brought down Troy. But really here, be in your aloofness, be in your attractiveness. Focus on home. It's saying, allow yourself to just be in that restful place and to take care of yourself. Be in your divine feminine energy and just to take care of yourself and the females around you. And use, again, that yin energy of just being, just knowing, right? It's not about attack. And unfortunately, I've heard stories of people attacking other toxic men, for example. We won't get into names here. But you know what I mean? Just doxing them and showing up at their homes. We don't want to do that. We want to be in our aloof energy. Be in our stable being energy, our attraction energy. And from there, we can manifest a better future. Okay? And I'll take out the final card. Final card of the collective consciousness here. What should the collective consciousness know? Be focused on? Spirit, thank you, Spirit. Please let You know what the collective consciousness should be focused on. All right, 7 of Earth Guardians. So with this card of 7 of Earth Guardians, it's talking about just like this Artemis energy here. So look at how similar these images are. She's got a crown, arrows coming out, butterflies around her head. This represents ideas as well, right? The butterflies are pollinators. The butterfly is also the symbol of transformation. And your ideas are the seeds of the future. So this image of the divine feminine in the sky is asking you to take a broader view of things. Put in motion any ideas and projects that you have and take it from a long-term point of view and that broader perspective. So for example, if you are in the realm of, focusing on intimate partner violence, what can you put forth? Whatever idea you had, maybe that's like, investing into like safe houses for women and their families, or investing into the food banks that support these women and families. Males too. Males also experience domestic partner violence. And if you're in the divine masculine, looking to support the growth of the divine masculine through the divine feminine and balancing it with it, consider getting into a traditionally considered divine feminine role like counseling and that kind of thing. Because, domestic intimate partner violence happens to every gender. Of course, there's an imbalance, as we know, towards, survivors being female. But what we don't know of survivors being males or victims being males is that oftentimes they don't have the support of like therapists in a gender neutral way. If somebody's going through domestic partner violence, sometimes it can feel very daunting to talk and be vulnerable with someone of that, opposite gender or someone who's similar to that of their abuser. So that's why it's really good to have males also in these spaces to support those male victims too. Just giving more diversity and choice to victims when they need to come out of it so they can grow into their survivor energy and then therefore emancipate themselves from that trauma, because these things do create long-term trauma. So that kind of, actually, as I speak to that, I see the little bumblebees, the bumblebees here being symbols of teamwork, working together for the hive, working together for the queen. So this is really about, creating a community, using ideas to create those communities, create those solutions that in the long term will help make positive change for that balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So don't give up on your ideas just because the world around you looks like it's against you or against women or against whatever you think it is. Take that broader perspective. Use this to sow the seeds of what you need to do, because now more than ever people will need your ideas in the future, and that leads to harmony in adversity, because it is through that push and pull of adversity that solutions are created. You're being asked to right now create a voice, put energy, put prayer, put thoughts, and put momentum behind these solutions that come out of contrast, that come out of conflict. The push and pull of adversity births beautiful things. It creates solutions for balance. And then we've got the Kundalini creatrix. Well, this creature is really about having that energy. Again, it comes from these ideas, that energy to manifest your ideas into reality. Now, the other thing that's important to this is to remember that as much as we engage in our earthly domain, we are ultimately on a spiritual journey. And the Kundalini is that base energy and the base of your chakra that goes through and flows through the vessel to help reignite the person's how do you say this, like psychic codes or energetic codes that are in each, energy system known as the chakras around the spine. I'm getting really deep into technical here, but in general, this energy is known as a serpent energy called the Kundalini. So as we awaken and as we ascend, all right, as we move into our ideas and take actions and express ourselves, we open up different power centers within the self, and it allows the Kundalini to rise. Okay, it allows our inner power to rise. This is just a reminder that the power that we need is on the inside, is not from the outside. The outside just is a way to express, play, challenge the container vessel that is the human body. But the spiritual body and the alignment of the spiritual body is what ascends us. And this is all part of the greater journey that we're on in the divine feminine, okay? Mastering the divine feminine to balance with what we see in the divine masculine right now in this world. And the goal of all this is the dimensional shift of the crystalline, okay? Our bodies will shift. Our whole global community will ascend into the different dimensions. Now, some psychics are talking about the splitting of different dimensions, different worlds. Some people think it's physical. Some people think it's just a mental space. These dimensional spaces are very much layered upon each other. But as we work on ourselves individually, we will naturally shift, and our DNA will shift into that crystalline structure that allows us to ascend. And finally, that brings us to the infinite life force. The broader perspective here is, yes, there's so much going on. Yes, there's so much, I hate to use this word, but misogyny that seems to be on the rise. There seems to be, a repression of the divine feminine, a pushback against for a lot of inclusive, diverse, feminine ideas. Notice how everything is in the reverse right now, the paradoxal, right? DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, is now a not T word. Feminism, which is about equality and just giving women their rights, is now a bad word. So much so that a lot of women do not even identify as being feminists. Woke, to be awakened, which is the journey. It is what the spiritual journey is for, is to awaken. But woke and wokeness has been convoluted into a bad word. We are in, and I know right now we're in the Mercury retrograde, so Mercury being the planet of communication, it makes a lot of sense that these themes are coming up right now. It's in the reverse. But in that, we can harmonize when we tune in with our inner life force, because it is the inner life force and our highest self that is all-knowing, infinite, and it is the sun. It is what illuminates truth. It is what makes all things that are dark come to light. Okay, so there's so much more here on our journey. Do not give up. Gents and ladies and everything in between, do not give up. Okay? You have so much more to offer. We have so much more to offer. So have hope, be positive, choose your reactions, and as much as what may be out there that devastates you, know that there's a more powerful force that's within you, and that will help create change, and that will create the rise. And take those physical action steps, the small steps in your life, okay, in your communities, locally, to shift political change. And moreover, the most important change, which is our spiritual shift, the ascension. Okay, thank you everyone, and I hope you enjoyed this broadcast.